All right, so yeah, good evening, everyone. As I was saying before, I ended the meeting unknowingly, right? So this section we're having now, today's section is the last section, right, for this class, right, and for the year. So, and from the previous section we've heard the previous 2 days, it's never been on the charts. We haven't done anything in the charts. I've just been telling you things and explaining some vital information that you needed to know, right? But today we'll go to the chat and do something. But before that, I cannot just lead you to the chat. So let me show you something, right? Let me just draw something here. So when we go to the charts, right? Am I recording? Okay. So when we go to the charts, right? See, you see candlesticks, you see a whole lot of candlesticks, all of these things here. You see candlesticks, and then these candlesticks are always responsible for all the concepts we are trading, right? They all fall into utilizing those concepts to find entry in all of these candlesticks, right? Now you trading SMC, there are three things you need to understand, right? I do call them the elements of price action, right? I do call them that. Let me empty this thing. So if you've been on the first section, I mean from July, this was the first thing we did in July, right? The element of price action, how price, three things that price moves with, right? That you can use to identify how price moves. And the three bosses here, one stands for structure, the other one stands for liquidity, and the other one stands for order flow, right? Structure, liquidity, and order flow. So structure, liquidity, and order flow. So when you go to your live chart, when you go to the live charts, when you go to the live charts here, you are likely going to consider these three things, right? Before you start placing your trade. The market structure, right? You're likely going to consider the market structure, right? Structure here. Okay, considering the structure, right? Then liquidity and then order flow. Liquidity and order flow. Liquidity. Liquidity. Liquidity, and then I just want to make it arranged, and order flow. So here goes order flow. All right, so when you go to your charts, before you do anything, right, you'll find out that in every trade you've analyzed, all these things come into in all the trades you've analyzed, right? So you consider the structure, then you consider liquidity. If liquidity is actually present at that region you're taking your trade from, and the order flow, right? Let me try to fill in something. Order flow, let me say a little thing here about order flows, right? A very tiny thing about order flow, right? Let's say price is buying to the upside, right? You wouldn't like to trade against the direction of price, right? You won't like to trade against the trend. So you'll be trying to find an entry together with the closest demand, right? Trying to buy in the next possible demand zones, right? Flowing with how price is moving, trying to trade the trend, right? Flowing with how price is moving and going to the upside, right? So same thing as bearish. Let's say we are in a bearish scenario. In a bearish scenario, we'll be trying to wait for price to retrace back to the supply zone before selling to the downside, right? So in price, you must actually determine the kind of the kind of direction we are in. Then you trade towards that direction, right? So, but then the most vital thing what is that? The most vital thing you should consider when going to your charts, right? sorry, these three things are the most vital things you should consider. The structure. When we talk of structure, we are talking about the market structure, right? You are trying to understand the trend in particular. What kind of trend are you in, right? Order flow will help you trade that trend, right? So if you get the idea of the kind of trend you're in, are we in an uptrend? Then you look for possible buy zones, right? Knowing that we are in an uptrend, you must wait for price to be breaking highs, right? Price to be breaking highs, creating higher highs and higher lows, right? Price will be sometimes it doesn't just compare. Don't worry, go to the chart, right? Let me just use something to represent structure, right? So structure here, liquidity. When you talk of liquidity, right, there are two things you can actually use liquidity to do. You must actually know that when we talk of liquidity, like the candlesticks you see here, everything you see in the candlesticks, they are actually money, right? All these things, they are actually buying and selling volumes coming out of the all buying and selling orders are everything displayed in the candlesticks, right? So if the candlesticks here should consist of buy and sells, right? I know that at every buy and sells is money that is either flowing out or money that is either flowing in into the market, right? So you can see that liquidity means money, right? Let's don't bring into the banks because let's say you want to take a loan in the bank. Sometimes, based on studies, sometimes they ask if you are liquid enough, right? So before they can grant you loan, things like that. So the liquid there means if you have should I say money or you have any solid means of providing liquidity for yourself to add up to the loan you're taking, right? So same thing goes to the charts. Everything there goes to the charts. Liquidity means money. And then you can use liquidity to find when price is going next, right? To know where price is going next. Where is price heading to? Price heads in the direction of liquidity, right? Where there is liquidity, you see price trading towards this region. Let's say we have something at the top, and this thing, let's say it's liquidity, right? Price will trade to that side of to that side where liquidity is. Grab the liquidity before maybe going to the downside, right? Price must surely grab the liquidity. Price trades in the direction of liquidity. Now that you know that price trades in the direction of liquidity, meaning if price should come close to liquidity, it's definitely going to grab liquidity. So whenever you're taking your entry, you shouldn't set your entry where liquidity is present at, right? This is just some little explanations I'm doing for you. If you want to learn about liquidity, go to the Telegram channel, right? I talked of liquidity there on a full day program, on a full 3 days. I talked all about liquidity. Yeah, so this is just a recap on some things. So when you see liquidity region, you should know that you shouldn't set your entry there because since price trades in that direction, what price will do is price is trading here to take out liquidity, right? It's just to take out liquidity. Now let's say your entry is at the liquidity region. What price does is price comes and take you out, right? Price comes and take you out and then goes your way. All right. So another thing you should actually use liquidity to do is, since you know that price trades in the direction of liquidity, you can actually use liquidity regions as a take profit target, knowing that as price, okay, let's say we have the liquidity at the upside here, right there upside, and now we have a demand zone here. We have a demand zone here, right? This demand zone, we have a BOS here. I know that price is going to you know the price is going to buy from this point and there is liquidity at the top, right? Then all you could do is just set your TP target at that liquidity, expecting price to trade towards that region, and then in the process of taking the liquidity out, you will hit your take profit target, right? You will hit your take profit target. As price triggers your entry, right? To take out liquidity. In the process, price will hit your TP, and then that trade will be a well-delivered trade, right? Now I've just shown you a little about the elements of trading rather, right? Now you can go if you want to see things I did there, go to the very first video on my Telegram channel. The first video there, I talked about elements of price action, I called it there, right? You can see the some illustrations I gave there using even support and resistance, right? Yeah, so let's look out for some entry models. I'm already seeing some here, but then let me try to draw them for you. Some entry, I need a zoom link. Why? My God, WhatsApp people and disturbance. Okay, so let's look out for some entry models. Some entry models, what you're likely going to see, right? A little bit of an explanation. Okay, so in the pool I did in the group, right? I asked you guys something about where is a major difficulty, something, your major difficulty in something, and then most of you all chose POIs, right? Like you're having problem choosing a POI. Now, before you choose a POI, there are things you should actually consider, right? Let's say you're looking forward to choose a POI to sell the market or buy the market, who knows? But then always consider some things, right? Let me stop here. Okay, so consider some things. Know that before you choose a POI, if you are trading change of character, most of you don't even wait for change of character. You just rush to take trades. Avoid areas. Make sure you are taking this is a change of character, right? This is a change of character. This is a change of character, right? And in this change of character now, you know your trend here. You know that this is a higher low, right? This is a higher low here. This is a higher low here. 12. This is a higher low here. I know that this is a higher high, right? This is a higher high. This is a higher high, and you have another higher high at this point, right? You have another higher high at this point, right? Now, anytime a change of character forms, a change of character is usually like price failing to create should I price failing the swing high and then breaking the low, right? Something like this. You would see another block here, a valid supply zone, to sell the market from. Here will be your supply zone. This will be the POI you're going to be looking out for, right? The POI you're going to be looking out for to sell this market. Here is your supply zone. Your supply zone. I don't know if I did a video on change of character on that channel, but then it's up to you to check what's on the channel, because maybe, who knows, I say a lot when I'm showing people something, so I might have done that. But then you check out if I did anything on change of character. Now, in some cases, this is just a big view on how change of character is, right? A big view on how here is the BOS. Right, to start having little BOS here, you can use it. Right, this is a major view on how change of character is and how you should look for entry. There you take out this region that price and broke structures from. This will be a valid supply zone to sell the market to the downside. Now let me do something more complex, right? Something more complex, because sometimes the chart is not always as sweet as you as I draw. You see some things far more complicated, something's much complicated that you would expect. So let's try to draw structures. I mean, structures that really exist in the market. I need to draw structures. Okay, because I think this should do. This should do. Trying to draw structures that exist. Let me just take something over here. Allow me to. I don't know if I should continue, but then okay. So let's leave these structures here. let's leave these structures. So you have your higher time frame supply at this zone, right? You have higher time frame supplies. You have your higher time frame supply zone at this point. This for confirmation entry. I'm showing things on POIs, right? Whenever price triggers your entry, before price reaches to this region, right? Before price will reach here, I'm not using advanced, I'm not using paid trading view, right? I don't actually need it. But then let's say price was at this point. If you scroll to lower time frame, this is higher time frame supply, right? Higher time frame supply zones, right? Supply zone, higher time frame supply zone. When you scroll to your lower time frame, you're going to see something like this, something like price creating that same change of character I just showed you. But now, if you don't actually understand how change of character forms, you may rarely see them because you are used to seeing change of character in higher time frame. In lower time frame, they may appear more smaller than you may seem, right? You may seem not to know about, you may seem not to even think that that is one, right? So this one here, a change of character, and then you'll be taking your entry from this point. But remember, in an uptrend, there will be selling opportunities too. In an uptrend, there will be selling opportunity for price to sell, right? Here is another supply zone. Here is another supply zone. A supply zone here. A supply zone here. It will look like a plain trend for you in higher time frame, but then in lower time frame, is in lower time frame you see this structure here, this structure here, lower time frame that you see them, right? In higher time frame, you won't be able to see this change of character well, right? You see this structure there, you see them well in lower time frame. So price is going to break this low. What's now as your change of character down, break this one at the up, right? A change of character occurs there. So everything works. Don't make the system complaints for you. So and then you'll be taking your trade from this refined block here. This other block at this. Damn, what did I just do? You'll be taking your trade from this other block at this region, right? The other block at this region. Now, this for you trading retracements because placing this trade at this point, you are just trading retracement. But then, like I said, in an uptrend, there are opportunities to buy, and even in a downtrend, there will be opportunities to in an uptrend there is opportunities to sell, right? There are also opportunities to sell the market, right? And in a downtrend you also see minor opportunities to buy the market too. So here is a major demand, like the higher time frame structure that you're actually trading with. And in this structure here you have an SMS at this point. Do I have SMS? You have an SMS at this point. Why is not showing? You have an SMS at that point. Okay, so an SMS here on the bottom. Oh my gosh. An SMS, let's bold in this. So you have an SMS at that point, right? An SMS at that point, and then a break, a break of market structure at this point. A break of market structure at this point. A break of market structure at that point, at this point here. BOS, here is BOS off. BOS up. And then even in the fractal structures, you will see minor BOS. You will see minor BOS done. You will see minor BOS, right? All of these fractal structures, okay, this is a major swing, right? So you see this is a BOS here, BOS to the downside, and then trying to show you levels before I explain this thing. Oh, share. So I don't know if you guys are going to screenshot this thing because I don't know when I will upload everything I've recorded here. And this is your other block. This is your other block. Where is that other block? Other block. Other. It's not here. That is your other block at that point. And then you still have your BOS at this point. All right. Some levels you need to take note of. Your BOS at this point, BOS down. BOS to the downside, right? And then why trading? Know that this is an entire uptrend, right? This one here, this is an entire uptrend, right? What you're seeing here is an actual uptrend. So you have to take note of all of these things. This is a demand zone, a mitigated demand. Okay, now let me go back. Let me go back. So these is the kind of structures you're going to see when you open your charts. The kind of structures you're likely going to see, right? Here is your order block there present. The kind of structures you're likely going to see in your charts. But the thing that confuses most of it is when you see something on the screen, it appears very, very simple, right? But when you are asked when you're asked to check it on the charts, it becomes should I say much harder to spot, right? Now the difference between me and you will be I spend the whole lot of my time staying in the charts, trying to get all of these levels, right? It's not the first time I've been to the chart seeing things like this. Most times I can just close my eyes and then be able to draw some of these charts, right? I mean some of these things, right? And when I go to the chart, I see them easily. But now you trying to do it for the first time, it will take you a lot of time because it's your first time actually. Your first time trying to do something like that. Recall in lower time frame, these structures you're seeing here will be fractal trends. They will be fractal trends. All of these structures you're seeing here, right? But now this is just a macro view on how the structure is, right? You see things like this over and over again in your lower time frame, over and over again in lower time frame, right? Instead of selling from here, instead of selling from this full order block, we can see the difference in RR, right? Let's use the same TP. Let's use the same TP, but then the TP should have been here because here is the sell side liquidity, right? Let's use the same TP level. Let's use the same TP level. I'll be removing this SMS. Let's use the same TP level. You see that here is the 1:7 and here is 1:13, right? So it's actually one of the essence of confirmation entry, right? So a confirmation entry make it less aggressive for you because sometimes charts will just come and kick you out and go your way, or may just take you out and keep pumping. But with confirmation entry, you are going to exercise patience after the chart has mitigated your supply zone or your demand zone. You wait for the chart to give you some confirmations that it's going to sell. And how do you tell the confirmations? They can come in two ways, right? Based on how I've been trading. They can come in form of an SMS and a BOS, right? Price may just do an SMS here and then break structure and then break structure. And the next thing, price goes back and trade that SMS. Price may just come back, tap into it and then start selling. Or they will come in form of change of character, in form of change of character like this one I've just shown you here. And for the buy side, let's do for the buy. I'll just do the opposite, right? And for the buy, now all of these things here, you could look at the elements of trading, they're actually appearing here. First of all, you must be able to identify the structure we are trading, right? You must be able to identify the structure you're trading. And if you look at where I set my TP, it's actually a liquidity level, right? And the fact I was flowing with the order flow, so every of the three appeared here, the market structure, liquidity, and order flow. You could see them all present here. Now let's do a little thing in the chart, like a little thing, before I continue with some other entry models. A little thing in the charts. I don't actually know the entry model we'll see first. If I should finish everything up. Okay, let me show you another entry models because I don't know what we'll be seeing next in the chart. This is for a complete uptrend. I showed you this one because this is for a downtrend, right? Let's do something of an uptrend. One uptrend, right? Let me go this way. One uptrend. One uptrend, just like market structure, trying to understand trend, trying to understand price trends, right? Trying to understand price trends. Pay attention to trends though. Pay very good attention to them because it says a whole lot. Trends actually says a whole lot about trading, things we are gonna trade, right? So my drawings are very bad right now. I'm trying to make liquidity build-ups, right? Liquidity build-ups. Okay, so let me get this thing below. Actually ugly. But then let's do something here. This is a full downtrend, right? How we reverse from a downtrend to an uptrend and then find our way buying from a downtrend and then found our way buying to the upside. Remember, when you go to your chart, it's usually like this. Let's say you may not know what will happen next, right? Now, for you to tell what will happen, start by marking levels. Start by marking levels, the possible levels you can see in the chart. And if I'm to leave this chart to you, let's say I send something like this as an assignment to the group, or for just a work for you guys to do, you know that you start marking from structures, right? You start trying to identify the structures, right? This is a BOS at this point, right? You start trying to identify price structures. They are all visible here. You start trying to identify price structures, right? In a downtrend, price break lows. Sorry, why did I do that thing? Change of right here down. So in a downtrend, price breaks lows. This is your take note of everything. Everything counts, right? Now, this is your lower high. This is your lower low, your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high. And then something happened here. We were about to change trend. And then we formed a lower low here. And then we formed a higher high, right? A higher high at this point. So at this point, we did it was a change of character that occurred at this point. At this point here, we had a change of character here. We had a change of character here to the upside, right? The change of character that BOS and SMS full meaning. BOS stands for break of structure and shift of market structure. Yeah, correct. So some persons here actually didn't know what BOS is. Wow. Downtrend, BOS to the downside. Let me see who and who is there actually. Let me see the sets of persons that are here. I know most of you have shared the link outside. And I know they hear would. Most persons have shared this link outside. This section is ending in 10 minutes. I don't know if I should just end it and then rehost, or should I just continue, let it end there. So this is a BOS here, and for this trend to reverse, right? Remember, BOS stands when you see break of market structure, that means the trend still continues, right? Break of market structure means trend continuation. As price keeps breaking structure, the trend starts creating a higher high, right? And when price keeps breaking structure to a downtrend, the trend continues on breaking the lows, right? And whenever I want to reverse, you see change of character appearing. Change of character is a reversal sign, right? Yeah, why BOS it's more of like continuity, right? It's a continual sign. So as we've had our change of character here, you should possibly know that the trend we are going to actually reverse. We are going to reverse at some point very soon. We are going to reverse at some point. So to the upside because we are no longer in a downtrend anymore. So, and that is what we'll be doing at this point. So back to the charts. Back to the charts, we have our demand zone. Here is your demand zone, recall, right? And if you are going to be using this one, it must be coming from a prior OB, right? A previous OB, right? Checklist for choosing an order block. You were taught this in previous program, right? So it must be coming from a prior order block, a previous order block, right? And then we have our BOS here to confirm, right? We first of all, we had the change of character. And after the change of character, we had the BOS. This BOS now stands for a confirmation, a trend confirmation that yes, we are actually bullish, right? That price not trying to, trick us, maybe something that breaks down to the downside. Now we've had our change of character, we broke structure. You should actually know that this demand here is a solid demand, right? This demand here is actually a solid demand to buy price to the upside. To excuse me, let me check something here. Let me some minutes. Okay, so let me continue. I think I should be ending this. I should be ending this now so that I'll be having time to rehost. Expect a new link in less than 3 minutes. Let me end this here because it's ending soon. End.